Good morning, class. We're going to be talking about dividing real numbers. So today's lesson might be a little bit shorter in terms of video length, but the content is nevertheless crucial. So we're going to be reversing or doing the inverse of multiplication, which is division. Now, this only works with numbers, or rather the concept of numbers. If you go further in math, you find out that it's a little more complex than this, but we're going to start with just division. So the first thing we need to know is reciprocals. So reciprocals is RECIPROCALS. Okay, reciprocals is this concept where you take, let's take, for example, 2/3, and what a reciprocal is going to be is you're going to flip it so that it's 3/2. Or another example, 1/3, the reciprocal is going to be 3/1. Okay, now this only changes it over, but A has to be, another way of saying this is it's from going from A to be 1/A, as long as A is not 0. Okay, any number that's not 0. Okay. Now, it's a crucial concept. 0 has no multiplicative inverse. Okay. That is to say, there's no number A that can get you to multiply together to equal 1. Okay, this can never happen. But nevertheless, we'll look at our multiplicative inverse. Okay, so 0 has no multiplicative inverse. What is a multiplicative inverse? Well, glad you asked. Here's our key concept. So, key concept is the inverse property of multiplication. That is, that if you have some number A times 1/A, it will equal 1/A times A, which will equal 1. So a multiplicative inverse will, especially this is true if A does not equal 0. Okay, that's only true. So it is the number that when multiplied together give us 1. Okay, so if we take an example, if you multiply 2/3 times 3/2, the top becomes 6, the bottom becomes 6, and you get 1. Okay, so that's multiplicative inverse. Okay, so then if you were to divide, we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, finding multiplicative inverse. This is not very challenging of a concept to find the inverse. So if you're given -1/5, you know that the inverse is -5, because multiplied together, you get 5/5, which is just 1. Okay, what happens to the negative? Well, they multiply together to become positive. Okay, division. Now, how you express division is, let's say you have 6 divided by 3. And you can do this in your head, right? 6 divided by 3, that's 2. But 6 divided by 3 is actually 6 times the multiplicative inverse of 3. Okay? So 6 times 1/3, which is 6/3, which is still going to give you 2. Okay? Now, so the idea is this is your division rule. So to divide by a number A, to divide, let's say, to divide a number A by a non-zero number B, multiply A by the multiplicative inverse of B. Okay, the example here is A divided by B is going to equal A times 1 over B, which will give us A over B, provided B is not 0. Okay? And this is simply in our book. Okay? So, if we're looking, this is actually an easier way of understanding fractions when you divide fractions. So if you have a number, let's say 5 divided by 2 is equal to 5 times 1/2, which equals 5 over 2. Okay? Now, some of you might be like, well, I already know a simpler way. Why would I need to do this? It's a great question. Why would you need to know multiplicative inverse? Because sometimes when you're doing multiplication and we need to reverse operations, we need to know the reversing operation is multiplied by the inverse. Okay? So the sign of the quotient, my apologies. Sorry. So if we have two numbers of the same sign, so sign of the quotient, if we have same sign, it's positive. Okay? If you have different sign, same signs, I should say same sign. Different signs, it's negative. Okay, and then if the 0 is on the top, if 0 is in the quotient, it's because you have 0 in the numerator. Okay? Okay, let's find the quotients. Let's do some practice. Okay. Negative 16 divided by 4. Negative 20 divided by negative 3 over 5. Oh, sorry, 5 over 3. That makes life easier. Okay, and let's do divide negative 3 over 8 divided by negative by 3 over 10. Okay, this first one, so we're just going to write this with multiplicative inverse in mind. So we get negative 16 over 4, and if you're to simplify, this becomes negative 4. And this one would become negative 20 times negative 3 over 5, which if we multiply would get 60 over 5. The negative signs would cancel. 60 divided by 5 would give us 12. Dividing this would be negative 3 over 8 times 10 over 3. You cancel, you get 30, negative 30 over 24. Simplifying it down, you get, 10 over 8, which also becomes 5 over 4. Okay. This I simplified by canceling out 6. Okay. I cancel that 6. So I divided both by 6. Okay. Okay. Sorry. It's a little bad. Okay. That's an equal sign. Okay. Is there any more practice? We'll come back and finish the last little bit, okay?